Hey, welcome to X's and O's on the KFAM Minnesota Vikings Radio Network and Vikings.com. It's Paul Allen indeed, with Minnesota Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, who, by the way, tomorrow, Thursday at 1 o'clock, has a press conference, and he'll be sharing much more on the quarterback for the Sunday night football game against the Green Bay Packers. And the head coach joins us now where, you know, I absolutely understand injuries are part of the game, man. And I mean, you've seen so many this year, but I just feel awful for DJ Wonnum. And it's not because I like him and since he got here, he's just a quiet guy who's kind of personality has come out a little bit over the years. Best season of his career, but he's sitting on his second deal.
Yep.
It's just so unfortunate on so many levels for DJ.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's the former player in me or what it is, but I just, when a player's in a contract year like that and you've seen them handle it the right way, do everything the right way, be the best possible teammate, do all the little things behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. But clearly Vikings fans and everyone at US Bank Stadium, including our team, coaching staff, you upstairs with the rest of the crew, are feeling that emotion in the moment because it's not always just about stats. It's not always about the things in this day and age when statistics and fantasy football drive so much of the dialogue. Those are the players that, in my opinion, make organizations go. They're the fabric of what makes it special to be a Minnesota Viking. Are guys like DJ Wonnum. DJ knows how I feel about him. I just think he's had a tremendous year. He's played his role in this new defense and really allowed us to be what we became defensively throughout the year. And I just, I'm hoping for a quick, speedy recovery, knowing he's going to attack it every single day. I think he'll be back better than ever when the time's right.
And emphasis on this new defense. And I mean, this is with, no disrespect to TJ Hawkinson, who's been dynamite, the year and change he's been here. TJ's a tight end and offensive changes. I get it. Maybe there's more blocking or, more nuance to what he does. But I mean, DJ went from a 4-3 defensive end to a stand-up outside linebacker. And I don't know how you graded it last year, but it didn't stick out the way it did this year. And just to watch them continue to grow through massive change.
Yeah.
Those are just things that, outside of you guys winning that I just really, really enjoy.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge part of what makes our league so special is these players are really in control of their path. Regardless of X's and O's and all those things, sometimes it's still a matter of defensively going out and trying to do your job, impose your will on an opponent, whether you're setting the edge in the run game, you're rushing the passer on third down, you're dropping into coverage. I can think back, whether it's the Carolina, touchdown return, whether it's, a big sack to get us off the field and when we absolutely had to have it. When we have found success, guys like DJ Wonnum, Josh Metellus, some of these guys defensively that maybe around the league, they don't jump out as automatic yeses as a Pro Bowl vote or an All-Pro vote, but within the walls of this organization, and when our team runs out of the locker room, we're very, very thankful to have players like DJ Wonnum.
Well said. Now, the Green Bay Packers, they got a little blitz happy in that Carolina Panthers game, and the question would be, is that who they are or just a snapshot sample of that game?
I think like anything, this has become such a week-to-week league. If you go back and watch the way the Lions played the Broncos previously or their previous couple opponents, we saw variations of different defense, more emphasis on maybe covering Justin versus doing what they had done to some other teams. And I think it's week to week. I think we know each other well. They have a good feel for, some of the core principles we like to kind of activate within our offense. Defensively, we feel like we have a good understanding of how they want to use their personnel. And ultimately, then it's just about those little chess piece moves of changing up some tendencies, doing things that, maybe look like something, but then are something totally different, and they can do the same thing on defense, and that's where we need to equip our players to have a great plan, be ready to play fast, but then ultimately if the picture changes or it's an unscouted look, what are our rules? What have we coached up from OTAs on forward that allows us to execute in those moments? And that's what really you find out where you're at from a standpoint of your offensive system, your ability to overcome, and we have grown a lot with that. PA, I know we've had some injuries. We got some new guys stepping into the huddle at some critical positions. But I do think the foundation is there, and now it's just about consistency of our execution and clearly, holding on to the football.
And for them with Jordan Love, compared to when you saw him the first time, 4 sacks on Jordan and 16 touchdowns and 3 interceptions since the Vikings played the Packers and beat them at Lambeau Field. What is getting better with his game?
I think he's just continuing with every rep to see the field, understanding the play intent, what they're trying to get done. I think the development of that skill group around him, whether it's the deep tight end group they have, the young receiving core, they went through some stretches where they didn't have a couple of those guys, and they had some young guys stepping in. They seem incredibly deep with a lot of guys that can, stretch the field, some change of direction guys. They mix in different variations to get a guy like Reed the ball on some misdirection, jet sweeps to Christian Watson. They're doing things that I'm sure if you study those 16 touchdown passes, not all 16 of them are him just dropping back and throwing the ball. It's jet sweep flips, it's screens, it's unique ways that Matt and his staff are trying to continue to allow him to grow. I think he's had a really impactful year for that team and really shows that he can handle stepping into those shoes of being a Green Bay Packer quarterback. And I think the coaching staff has done a nice job kind of packaging plays, giving him some breather snaps where statistically he's going to come out 1 for 1 for a 12-yard gain.
Yeah.
But did he flip the ball? Did he throw a screen? Did he throw a bubble screen? Did he throw a, whatever it is? They're finding those breather plays, and that's where defensively we've got to try to apply pressure but be aware of maybe where those easy plays might come, how they like to get to them. And can we rally and tackle? To me, tackling in this game, when our defense has been at their best, scheme, all those things are great. But can we make that tackle that makes it 2nd and 8 instead of 2nd and 1? Can we make that tackle that makes it 3rd and 5 instead of a new set of downs? That'll be critical for defending not only Jordan Love, but their whole entire outfit.
Yeah, what an awesome way to analyze it, specifically in looking back at Carolina, Green Bay. All right, the Panthers, they tore up Green Bay's defense in the second half, and at the end of the game, they had 5 completions of 19 yards or more. But 2 of them took place when Green Bay basically was letting them catch it at the end, so the clock would go with no timeouts. 3 is different than 5. That's, stats is for losers, or for losers might be a little strong, but that absolutely plays into that. And speaking of stats, so Nick Mullins goes for 700 and change the last 2, and the offense absolutely getting explosive. You talked about it after the Lions game, but the picks, and maybe a guy missed to win the Lions game. So how do you balance all of that, given he started just 19 and 2 with you?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we have to look at the inventory of the plays we have at our disposal and go back through what was being coached, the emphasis on ball security. It's been a theme for our team throughout the season, trying to make sure we can not lose games before we ever give ourselves a chance to even win them.
Really, since you got here.
And really, it's just been something that Nick, throughout his career, even dating back, I don't know the exact numbers, but through his first 17 starts, whatever it was, he threw for more yards than anybody. But there were always some plays here and there where he almost has that such competitive drive that he's going to put the ball, at risk. He's going to try to extend a play and maybe fit one in a window he shouldn't. What I've talked to Nick about, and really all of our quarterbacks about, is trusting in the play intent, the rhythm and timing, what we're trying to get accomplished, clearly articulate the read, the progression, what are we doing with the football to check it down if it's not there, and then ultimately the value, as we had to learn the hard lesson. We won a football game scoring 3 points.
Right.
But what didn't we do that day? We didn't turn the football over.
Right.
And I think it's just a lesson in conjunction with the other 16 wins we've had when we're even or better on the turnover margin and never having lost a game with those circumstances. We've got to take those lessons and apply them to how we play, how we coach, how I call plays. And I think there's many times and many moments in that game where if we simply just execute the play as it was intended, trusting in our guys to win, trusting in the design to try to get maximum separation, where do we want that ball thrown, where do we need to leave it if we're going to miss, that's playing quarterback in the NFL. And when you don't have a guy like Kirk Cousins in there who's played basically his entire career healthy, you've got some guys that are really trying to step into that role. How do we morph ourselves to win football games? The fact of the matter, PA, is we've scored 24 points the last 2 weeks. We've been very explosive via the pass. but we haven't won the football games.
Right.
And in the end, that's what we're tasked with trying to do. We've got to continue to try to, late in the year, December improvement is what defines teams down the stretch. It's great to be playing meaningful games in December, but we've got to also improve as a football team, improve at the quarterback position with the opportunities we have, and then just go try to let it turn it loose and play smart football for 4 quarters.
Last one here, Kevin. And I picked this up because I want to read this correctly. I don't understand the line of questioning with a couple of the recent press conferences of, quote, trying to get explosive playing into the interceptions.
Yeah.
Okay, end quote. And here's what I don't understand is I don't understand the alternative. And if something is built around a strength, getting down the field with a passing game, that's the strength of this offense. As you're wheeling through quarterbacks, I would imagine you can't just jettison it. You understand what I'm saying? I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I think there's core philosophies, there's beliefs. I think going into that football game, thinking about how many snaps we had really had Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson on the field for this year. We want to be aggressive when we feel like maybe at times we could have been more aggressive, right, given those guys more opportunities. We've kind of learned throughout these first 32 games or so, and a huge chunk without Justin this season. We kind of know where to take the game based upon not letting our best player be taken away. It would essentially, the analogy that I gave our coaching staff is just because Michael Jordan was doubled or Kobe Bryant was doubled, it didn't mean that John Paxson always shot the ball. Yeah. It meant that sometimes we were going to try to design a play to help Michael Jordan be Michael Jordan. And right. I think Justin Jefferson is a miraculous player. I think he's as competitive as any player I've ever been around. In that game, these explosives that we had opportunities at on the very last play, throughout the game, the first 4th and 2, there's designs in place to try to help the quarterback just play and trust their footwork, trust their reads, put the ball in play to our playmakers, and it is amazing to watch. In some of the games, even since losing Kirk, when we've done that for chunks of football games, the amount of success we can have. There is time of possession, PA. There is a responsibility to play complementary, but we wanted to score some points in that game. I have a lot of respect for Detroit and the way they can score points. We wanted to, for the sake of time of possession, risking being in 3rd and 7+ multiple times against that team. We had a good plan for Hutchinson. He had multiple people on him throughout the game. I felt like the game plan gave us an opportunity to win. I think that the game plan we had, take away a couple of those turnovers, which are learning opportunities for all of us, that could have been a game we were in the 30s and the 40s. And, we've played a lot of close games, and we want to try to win games and not always be in one-score games, but it is the nature of the NFL. But you're not going to run away from people by, always being conservative or always being aggressive. It's that balance of trusting in your players to go make plays, and they wouldn't be in this building if we didn't trust them.
The final home game this Sunday. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you, PA.
Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm Paul Allen. Assistant head coach and outside linebackers coach Mike Pettin joins us when we return to X's and O's on the KFAN Minnesota Vikings Radio Network and Vikings.com.